The Maryland air hung heavy with unspoken secrets, a fitting atmosphere for the clandestine facility nestled deep within its wooded expanses. Here, time bent, and reality itself seemed a malleable concept, all under the watchful, haunted eyes of Dr. Eris Thorne. His brilliance in astrophysics was legendary, a mind capable of deciphering the universe's most intricate riddles. Yet it was a personal enigma that consumed him, the inexplicable disappearance of his sister Ilara years ago. Her absence had carved a void in his soul, fueling an obsession that now found a dangerous outlet in the government's top-secret Project Stargate. Eris had been brought into the Maryland research facility as lead theoretical physicist, a man whose unique insights were deemed indispensable for a project shrouded in whispers of experimental physics and unknown energy sources. The facility itself was a marvel, a labyrinth of gleaming steel and humming machinery, all converging on a massive, enigmatic device at its core. From the moment he laid eyes on the Stargate, Eris felt a strange, undeniable pull, a flicker of desperate hope that this monumental undertaking might somehow provide the answers he craved. He dove into the data, his fingers dancing across keyboards, his mind racing through complex equations. Almost immediately, Eris identified anomalies in the Stargate's energy readings, subtle fluctuations that defied conventional explanation. His theories, initially met with skepticism, quickly coalesced into a groundbreaking yet terrifying possibility: interdimensional travel. This wasn't merely a gateway to distant stars, it was a potential bridge between realities. For Eris, it was more than just scientific triumph. It was a desperate, fragile thread leading to Ilara. Could she have crossed over? The thought, once a torment, now ignited a fierce determination. However, Eris was not alone in navigating the treacherous waters of Stargate. Dr. Lena Petrova, a sharp, pragmatic government liaison and lead engineer, stood as his counterpoint. Her skepticism was a formidable wall, her primary motivation rooted in national security and the project's successful, controlled execution. She viewed Eris's radical theories with a cautious eye, her analytical mind preferring tangible data over speculative leaps. A subtle power struggle began to emerge, a clash between Eris's unbridled scientific ambition, fueled by personal grief, and Lena's unwavering commitment to ethical responsibility and protocol. As Eris pushed for more aggressive testing, often disregarding established safety protocols in his feverish pursuit, Lena's concerns grew louder. She voiced warnings about potential consequences, the unforeseen dangers of tampering with fundamental laws of physics. But Eris, driven by an almost manic focus, pressed on. Then came the first unstable activation. A brief, uncontrolled energy surge ripped through the Stargate, causing localized temporal distortions within the lab. Lights flickered wildly. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy, and equipment momentarily defied its programming. In the chaos, Eris saw it, a fleeting image, a familiar face shimmering in the swirling energy, undeniably Ilara. The vision, though momentary, solidified his suspicions, transforming his desperate hope into a burning certainty. His next discovery shattered his remaining illusions. Deep within the project's encrypted files, Eris unearthed chilling hints about Stargate's true sinister origin. He found evidence of his former mentor, Professor Miles Corbin, a man thought to be long deceased, intricately involved. The respected academic, whom Eris had mourned, had faked his own death. Corbin was alive and pulling strings from the shadows. Eris confronted Lena, his face a mask of furious disbelief, clutching the incriminating data. "Corbin," he rasped. "He's alive, and he's behind all of this." Lena's composure faltered, a shadow of fear crossing her features. Her eyes, usually so guarded, now held a deeper, more personal connection to Corbin and the project's hidden agenda than Eris could have ever imagined. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Lena's carefully constructed facade crumbled, revealing a vulnerability Eris had never witnessed. Her voice, usually so steady and authoritative, was now a hushed confession, laden with years of unspoken fear. She admitted Corbin had coerced her into the Project Stargate years ago, a dark secret she had carried in suffocating silence. Her family, she revealed, had been threatened, their safety held hostage by Corbin's insidious grasp, forcing her compliance. Lena's eyes, now brimming with a mixture of shame and terror, met Eris's. She explained Corbin's true, terrifying aim, not just scientific advancement, but an insatiable desire to access untold resources and unimaginable knowledge from another dimension, a conquest he would stop at nothing to achieve. The personal stakes for both Eris and Lena intensified dramatically. Eris, now with a chilling certainty, believed Alara had been an early, unwitting test subject, a pioneer in Corbin's reckless dimensional experiments. The fleeting image he had seen during the Stargate's unstable activation was no hallucination. It was a desperate cry from across the void. Lena, meanwhile, grappled with the crushing weight of her complicity, her fear for her own family intertwining with a burgeoning guilt over the potential horrors she had unknowingly facilitated. Their shared enemy, a ghost from the past pulling strings in the present, forged an uneasy yet undeniable alliance between the grief-stricken astrophysicist and the terrified engineer. Corbin, a master manipulator, continued to exert his control from the shadows. His communications arrived through encrypted channels, disembodied commands that tightened the invisible leash around Lena's neck and preyed on Eris's raw grief. He used psychological tactics with chilling precision, twisting Eris's desperate longing for Alara into a weapon and leveraging Lena's profound fear for her loved ones. The Maryland Research Facility, ostensibly a bastion of scientific discovery, felt increasingly like a prison. Corbin's network of loyalists within its walls making any thought of escape a perilous fantasy. His unseen presence was a constant, suffocating pressure. Driven by a renewed urgency, Eris plunged back into the chaotic data fragments from the Stargate's first unstable activation. He spent sleepless nights, his mind a whirlwind of algorithms and theoretical physics, meticulously piecing together the distorted information. Slowly, agonizingly, patterns emerged. These weren't random energy fluctuations, they were fragmented cryptic messages from Alara. Her voice, faint but unmistakable, described a desolate alien landscape, a place of stark beauty and terrifying dangers. She spoke of a key and a gatekeeper, terms that resonated with an ominous gravity. Her words were a beacon, guiding Eris through the dimensional fog, but also a stark warning. The key, Eris soon deduced, was a dangerous, unstable energy source embedded deep within the Stargate's core. Full activation, he realized with a growing dread, held the power to tear the very fabric of reality, to unleash unimaginable devastation. Corbin, unburdened by conscience or caution, intended to use it regardless of the catastrophic consequences. He saw it as a means to an end, a tool for dominion over other dimensions, blind to the existential peril it presented. With Lena's reluctant but vital assistance, Eris managed to orchestrate a controlled, albeit brief, activation of the Stargate. The air thrummed with raw energy, the massive device humming with barely contained power. For a fleeting moment the portal shimmered, and through its swirling vortex, they saw her. Alara. She was older, her features hardened by struggle, her eyes fierce with a primal will to survive. She was fighting, a lone warrior in an unforgiving alien landscape. Her image was a testament to her resilience, but her message was dire. She warned them, her voice echoing across realities, of a powerful entity, the gatekeeper, guarding the key, a being of immense power that would stop at nothing to prevent its misuse. As the vision of Alara, battling against an unseen foe, faded from the shimmering portal, a sudden piercing alarm blared through the lab. The stark red lights pulsed, casting a hellish glow on their faces. Corbin's forces, a phalanx of armed guards, breached their secure lab, their boots pounding with chilling synchronicity. Eris and Lena were cornered, trapped. A cold, metallic voice boomed over the intercom, demanding the key, threatening immediate, catastrophic activation of the Stargate if they resisted. The true battle had begun. The armed guards surged forward, their weapons glinting menacingly in the flashing emergency lights. Eris and Lena, trapped against the console, knew their time was running out. A desperate struggle ensued, a chaotic ballet of bodies and shouts. Lena, her mind racing, instinctively leveraged her engineering expertise. With a surge of adrenaline, she slammed her palm onto a recessed panel, overriding the security protocols that sealed the lab doors, causing a momentary flicker in the guards' comms. Simultaneously, Eris, recalling the Stargate's intricate power schematics, plunged his hand into a live conduit, deliberately overloading a secondary power relay. Sparks flew, a deafening explosion ripped through the air, and lights flickered violently, plunging half the lab into momentary darkness. The diversion bought them precious seconds, enough to scramble away, but it was a fleeting reprieve. Then he appeared. Professor Miles Corbin, no longer a disembodied voice or a shadow, but physically present, stepping out from behind his guards, his face a chilling mask of triumphant resolve. His eyes, cold and calculating, fixed on Eris, then Lena. His voice, now devoid of its usual cultivated calm, boomed through the lab, echoing off the metallic surfaces. He revealed his true, horrifying motivation, not merely resources, but to bring back his own lost loved one from another dimension, a loved one he believed the Stargate could retrieve. He spoke of the gatekeeper not as a guardian but as an obstacle, a mythical entity to be overcome. His obsession, Eris realized with a sickening lurch, mirrored his own desperate quest for Alara. But Corbin's path was paved with utter disregard for life, a terrifying distortion of love. With a maniacal glint in his eyes, Corbin initiated full power to the Stargate. The Maryland facility groaned under the immense strain, the very foundations trembling violently. A deafening hum escalated into a thunderous roar as the massive device came to life. In the heart of the lab, a swirling vortex ripped open, a colossal portal of shimmering, unstable energy. Through its iridescent depths, the alien dimension became terrifyingly real, a vista of jagged crystalline formations and swirling nebulae. Then, drawn by the immense power, the gatekeeper emerged. It was a monstrous energy-based entity, a being of pure raw force, its form shifting and coalescing within the portal, its presence radiating an ancient, malevolent power. Eris watched in horror, the raw power of the gatekeeper threatening to tear reality apart. He knew with a chilling certainty that the only way to close the portal, to prevent an interdimensional catastrophe, was to reverse the energy flow, to sacrifice himself by becoming a conduit for the immense force. Through the swirling chaos of the portal, he saw her. Alara. Her eyes, older and wiser, met his across the dimensional divide. There was a silent understanding, a profound connection that transcended words. He had to choose, rescue Alara, or save both dimensions from utter annihilation. The choice, though agonizing, was clear. Lena, witnessing Corbin's ruthless ambition and the sheer unfathomable destruction he was unleashing, made a decisive choice. Her fear transformed into resolute anger, her complicity into a fierce determination to rectify the colossal mistake. She grabbed Eris's arm, her grip firm. "Tell me what to do," she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos. Together, they worked in a desperate, synchronized dance, rerouting the energy flows, knowing full well it was a suicide mission. Her actions were no longer driven by coercion, but by genuine remorse and an unyielding desire to protect, to honor the sacrifice she knew Eris was about to make. Eris, with Lena's crucial aid, successfully reversed the flow. The Stargate shrieked, a sound of tearing fabric, as the immense backlash consumed him. His body glowed with an otherworldly light, then dissolved into pure energy, absorbed by the collapsing portal. The swirling vortex imploded, the gatekeeper recoiled with an agonizing shriek, repelled back into its own dimension, and the Maryland facility miraculously stabilized. Lena, devastated but resolute, stood amidst the wreckage, a lone survivor tasked with honoring Eris's ultimate sacrifice. In the aftermath, sifting through the debris of Eris's personal lab, she discovered a single, untouched data chip. On it, a final message from Alara, a voice filled with peace, revealing she had found a new home, a new purpose in the other dimension. And then, a haunting image, a new star, forming in the distant cosmic dust, a beacon suggesting Eris might not be truly gone but merely transformed, a new light in the vast, silent tapestry of the universe.